we're looking forward to that. Everybody download their tickets, get ready to go. And we want everybody in there nice and early. It's a national TV game. We'll have tons of prospects watching, and we want to make sure we showcase and put our best foot forward, obviously. Questions?
This is probably the best offense that you guys faced this year. What are the challenges in going up against a group like this?
Yeah, they've got multiple threats. They've got a solid veteran offensive line, 4 or 5 starters back, good size. They've got 2 talented backs, 3 talented receivers, got a solid tight end, and now they've got a quarterback that can, run the show, run the offense, and make the throws. So I think they're very, just well-balanced, and there's really not a weakness in their offensive unit.
Asked you about, after the game, about Caleb Smith. Any further update on him? It looked like he was kind of holding his collarbone after the play.
Yeah, I would say this. Caleb, to me, yesterday looked much better than he did last Sunday. So, to me, that was a real positive.
You kind of feel it seems like he's had something every single game that he's battling through. How hard has that been for him?
Yeah, that's difficult. He's a little bit frustrated. But, guys like Caleb that give their body up and play so hard every snap, they get banged up. Man, I love that about him. He's one of those guys. He's kind of a throwback. And but as I said, I think he looked better yesterday than he did a week ago. So I'm encouraged.
Let's go back there to David and then to Aaron.
Hey, Brent, you touched upon this a little bit on Saturday. In some ways, this is a big deal. You mentioned recruiting and national television audience, but also at the same time, how do you tell your team don't make this more than what it needs to be?
Yeah, they can be caught up a little bit on Thursday night, to be emotional and in the moment. I get it. But, what's most important to me is that we maximize each day of preparation. And you can't let your emotions get out in front of that. We've got to be focused on the task at hand, and that's having a great, what is this week, a Tuesday practice today. So, it's about them being focused and thinking about the right things, having their feet, in the right place. Or, it's tough, right? They're 18 to 22-year-olds, and they get caught up in the moment. And, it's all over social media. It's all over, all over campus and the community. And, everybody talking about Thursday night, and I want them thinking about Monday's practice.
Quick follow-up, because you mentioned how this is technically Tuesday. So how do you kind of condense what effects does, obviously, a short recap on you guys in preparation?
Yeah, we've minimized the amount of time that we'll be at practice. We've minimized the intensity of practice in places, and kind of combined multiple days into one. So quite a bit of planning and adjustments made to the week schedule.
Front row, Aaron.
Brent, I asked you about the tackling after BC, and you said it's kind of a lost art and a big emphasis. On a more micro level, I mean, if you look at PFF grades, I know they're a grain of salt, but it looks like guys like Connor, a lot of your defensive backs, Breon Murray, are getting the highest grades on that side of the ball. Is that what you're seeing too, that your defensive secondary is doing a fine job on the tackling front? I would imagine that's going to be big in this game. It's just in space, making sure you make the
Yeah, that's going to be important. You have to emphasize it each and every week. And the staff's doing a great job of coaching and teaching it the right way. And it's consistent. And we're tracking attack, and I think it's challenging these days. You just don't do enough of it. They don't come to college, enough of them anymore, knowing how to tackle. The high school level's dealing with concussion protocols and everything else like we are, and they just they don't do it as much.
How important is just the simple act of flowing to the ball from away from the ball? On nights like this where the first guy might not make the tackle, and I don't know how you grade that when you're watching film and you give bonuses to kids who come from out of nowhere where it looks like they don't have
Yeah, you absolutely want to reward the great effort. And we have to play hard all 11. We do what's called a hunt grade each and every week. And we have to feel like the defensive unit is swarming to the football. And there's really zero tolerance. you're given a minus, for anything that's not a true react and drive. And, things happen around the ball, right? Missed tackles, fumble scoops, tipped balls. I mean, things happen around the ball, and you don't know if what play that's going to occur on. So you got to rally to it each and every snap, and make sure that one time the ball does pop out or there's an opportunity for you, you're there to make it. Otherwise, it's a missed opportunity.
Andrew?
You're 2-0 at home right now. How important is it for you guys to take advantage of those 6 home games you have each year?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, again, we're about being 1-0. I think whether that's home or away, our approach is the same. And, the advantage of being at home and our fan base and our community and, our families, everybody being able to pack it in and support one another and cheer on these guys, that's obviously advantageous for us. But as far as our preparation and what we do, I mean, I have to, I got asked a question this morning about an opponent down the road, and I had to pull the schedule out to see exactly when we were playing them. And that may seem extreme, but, if the head coach is looking ahead, if that's not what we want for our guys, that's certainly, it can't come from me any other way than trying to be 1-0 this week.
For somebody who grew up in the Commonwealth, you were on staff when Virginia Tech and West Virginia played. What does this rivalry mean to you? Yeah,
I mean, I still have friends in West Virginia. I grew up most of my life there, and my dad had 3 or 4 coaching stops in the state, and before coming to Lexington. So, personally, my first football game was West Virginia and Penn State at WVU, my first college game. But so, it's I don't get caught up in the emotions of it. But I know it means a lot to a lot of people in this area, and I certainly respect that.
Where have you seen the biggest improvement from Dax and Keonta through the first 3-4 games?
Well, let me start with Keonta. He's learning the position. It's new to him. When we first approached him with it, he kind of gave me that sideways look, like, "What you talking about, Willis?" Like, hold on now, I'm a DB. But he's really growing into the position. I think Coach Quinn's done a terrific job with him and J.R. Walker. And those 2 guys have safety qualities, but, have had to learn to be linebackers at the same time. And, he's that spot's a big part of what we do. And Keontae's getting better and better each week. He had a nagging injury that's kind of, I think he's finally over. So I look forward to seeing him play his best football on Thursday night. And then Dax, he's just he's the ultimate worker. He's invested. He's committed. I love it when you got a guy that's played 4 years and he sits there and says, I know I got a lot to get better at. And he's committed to doing that. And, he's really reading things very well on the snap that allows him to be in the right place at the right time. And, there's guys that can run 4.4. And there's guys that run 4.7, and they can get to the same place at the same time because of their reads and awareness and anticipation. And Dax is maximizing all of that.
You said after the game you saw the offense on schedule more in this game. Still only 27 points in that one. What do you feel is holding this group back in terms of red zone or finishing drives like you'd like to see?
Yeah, I think we got to run the ball a little bit better, more consistently. We've had moments. I think our offensive line's certainly capable. But, it's a little bit also about not being predictable. I think we got to keep people honest. I know what it's like when offenses are predictable for us and what that means in calling a game. So, we've had some healthy conversations this week, and I think, we got to be able to run the ball a little bit more efficiently. And we've proven now we've got multiple guys that can make the catch and do some things with. So, but, I thought we missed, just Keyshawn's ability to go the distance. I'd like to think that, there would have been an opportunity or 2 or 3 for him to do some special things on Saturday. Those guys that are game changers, you want them to be worth a touchdown or 2 each and every week. And he's certainly one of those guys.
I don't know how true to life the depth chart that we get is going to be every week, but you moved Cole Beck on kickoff return and took Keyshawn off of there. Is that just to sort of lessen his load because he has more of a role in the offense, or do you like what Beck obviously brings speed-wise?
Yeah, we want to give Beck an opportunity, and he's been training. Again, he had to shake a lot of rust off. He hadn't played much football, in the last couple of years. So giving him a chance to kind of showcase some of what his strengths are. He's been playing some gunner on our punt team and doing a good job there. But chance to get the ball in his hands. He's obviously a fast guy, and when you talk about a guy that can make a difference and make a big explosive play, he's certainly one of those guys. So we just got to keep creating opportunities, and that's one way we can do it.
Back in the room to Eric, and then we'll go
Coach,
to Zoom.
Coach, you talked about cleaning up the offense a little bit and finding a rhythm. I noticed some of those third and mediums, third and longs kind of crept in again on Saturday. What do you do to keep assessing that area of the offense there?
Yeah, that goes back to your play selection and your result on first down. And we were improved there, just still not where we want to be. But, first, second down being efficient so that you have a manageable third down.
All right, let's head out to Zoom for some questions.
On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature for your questions, and we'll start with Paul, please.
Brent, obviously this rivalry is huge. Some would argue maybe bigger than UVA, maybe even bigger than Miami, especially if you talk to the old heads out there. You got the Thursday night atmosphere, you've got the short week, you've got all of these things kind of going around. How do you keep the kids focused on what they need to do today, tomorrow, and Wednesday so that when you play this game Thursday night, they're ready to go?
Yeah, that's the culture that you create all the way back on day one, right? It's about us. It's about when they come through the doors to this facility, what we expect, where the attention is. That's the staff doing a great job, having our thoughts and our process be ingrained in these guys where there's really not time for that. There's a task at hand with everything we do, and keeping those guys, understanding that it's what we do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that will take care of Thursday. And I think they're in a good place with that. We've had good preparation, and I credit that to the maturity on the football team.
And then early on in your tenure, and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me if I get this wrong, but you had mentioned that at some point you probably would give up the play calling duties on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, with the way the defense is currently playing, I don't see that being a thing, but have you begun to relinquish a little bit of that to the staff, or are you still the guy making all of the calls every defensive play?
Coach Marr's doing a great job in our preparation throughout the week. I'm in that defensive staff room about half the time. Watch all the post-practice film with them. And certainly study the opponent sometimes with our defensive staff, in addition to what I do, in my office. But Chris and I share notes a lot, share thoughts a lot on the preparation, and then Chris called some of those series towards the end of the game. I thought it was a great opportunity to do that. We talked about it ahead of time. Looking back, I don't know if it was really fair. We were rolling a bunch of guys in and giving some guys opportunity to get better, and that's where he got his play calling in. So I think I did him a disservice. But Chris is doing a phenomenal job, and I'm super excited about the direction the defense can go with Chris. So we're going to keep bringing that along.
Thanks,
We go to
Coach. Good
David
luck this
Teal,
week.
please.
Brent, what were your impressions in 95 and 96 of the Tech West Virginia rivalry, especially 96 there in November at Lane Stadium with Big East title implications and both of you all in the top 25?
Yeah, that was a fist fight. And I think we had gone up there the year before and played them pretty well, maybe blanked them, and came back to our place with a lot on the line, and it was a fist fight, just like we thought it would be, and it was good play on both sides, and so it's they're like-minded institutions in a lot of ways, right? Just the football programs. The schools, there's so many folks kind of like what I hear all the time with Penn State, right? We're just in close enough proximity. You got a brother that went to West Virginia and a sister goes to Tech, or my mom went to West Virginia and my son goes to Tech, or there's just a lot of relationships that cross over. So it makes for an interesting matchup for sure.
And then Grant, after a rough start against Old Dominion, has been efficient the last 2 weeks, no turnovers from the offense. Is he just being smarter with where he goes with the football?
I just think he had a couple of, bad throws against Old Dominion. What you saw the last 2 weeks from Grant is what we saw, 58 out of 60 practices. I mean, that's who he's been to us, and that's what we expect from him. But yeah, great game to build off of. I think he's getting better each week, and I think the sky's the limit for Grant.
2 more on Zoom. Can we go to Mike Barber, please?
Hey, Brent, you kind of touched on this earlier, but you do have some more guys establishing themselves at the wide receiver position. How do you feel about the depth there and the options you have?
Yeah, again, I think they got to continue to trend that way. I use that word often enough. I mean, somebody starts trending and you're feeling a little better about it, but they still have to go prove it. And one game's not enough for me. It's something to build on. You do it 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, you're going to say, okay, I know what we can get now. This is who this guy's become. This is what we can expect. And right now they've got us excited, and they're trending in the right direction. And my challenge to them is, to keep investing and keep working, and let's take the next step.
As a defensive guy, in terms of preparation, how many games does a receiver have to put on film before you start paying attention to him?
It depends what those plays look like. We certainly always talk, do we need to double cover? What's the matchup? How many targets? Where are they happening on the field? But what I like is I think, it just shows our ability to spread the ball around. And Coach Mines has done a great job kind of playing a couple of those guys in different positions. So, sometimes you can say, oh, well, he's always the receiver in the boundary, he's always to the field, or he's always to the left and he's always to the right. And right now we can kind of mix things up a little bit to a degree, which helps.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Last one on Zoom. We'll go to Steve, please.
Right. Coach, going back to the West Virginia game, since you became head coach and you meet up with former players, fans, how often has this game come up in conversation with them when you meet up with them?
Well, there's obviously connections, and for me, their defensive line coach was just a fantastic grad assistant for me at Penn State, Andrew Jackson. So I'm very happy to see the success he's having. We helped him get that job. And then Jeff Kuntz, their linebacker coach, is a longtime family friend. His dad was a longtime junior college coach in the South, and so some ties there with their staff. But certainly a lot of friends that I went to elementary and junior high school with, are West Virginia people, and they go every week, and so the Facebook messages are blowing up right now about the game. But it's a big game for both communities. We recruit a lot of the same players, and so that's a piece of it, and we know a lot about each other.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you on Zoom.
Good. All right. Yeah. Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Give an update on Malik. All right, questions for tight end Nick Gallo. Andy?
Nick, you've been targeted quite a bit this season. I think you'll have almost as many receptions this year as you did last year. Is there something in this offense that brings the tight ends in a bit more in the passing game?
Yeah, I think in this offense we kind of look towards the tight ends a little bit more early downs and as well on third downs. So I would say that's the main difference.
What is it like catching a pass from Grant Wells? Does he have a changeup? Because he seems to fire it pretty fast at you guys.
It's great. He's really accurate. So, when you turn around, you got to be ready. And he'll put it right on you, right on the numbers. And then I actually like it because you get it and then you can kind of turn around pretty quick and be able to survey the field a little bit.
You ever be like, hey, just take off a little bit on the passes at all, or is it just like, no,
No,
I'll take it fast?
No, whatever he's throwing, I'm catching. So.
David.
What do you remember from last year's West Virginia game, and is there still a bad taste in your mouth?
Yeah, there's definitely a bad taste. What I remember is just the offense being out there and having the chance to, take over the game, win the game, and us not being able to do that. So, yeah, that's what I remember.
Where have you improved the most, and you and the other guys in the tight end room under Coach Bowen, and how much of him also being the offensive coordinator has that helped at all?
Yeah, I think we've done a great job through the offseason. I think we have a lot of older guys with experience and leadership, and I think it's just us taking, that experience and going out on the field and having a lot more confidence.
Where are you trying to improve the most? Is there one area that you're really putting emphasis on?
I would just say just overall being more consistent. That's the biggest thing. I felt like last year I would kind of play, highs and lows, and this year I just want to, be consistent.
Go Aaron and then David.
Nick, we know the atmosphere will be crazy on Thursday, but there were some questions going into last game whether people would show up with the early kick and opponent and all that. Was there a point in that game? I mean, there's 62,000 people here. Was there a point in that game where you looked around and said, man, these people are actually pretty bought in?
Yeah, Hokie Nation, I mean, I never doubt them. So 11 o'clock kick, I mean, it was packed. Really cool atmosphere. I like the whiteout. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm always continued to be impressed with them.
What would a win mean on Thursday night? I mean, you guys are slight underdogs. I mean, there's some doubt, I guess, whether you guys can get it done or not. What would it mean to you guys to get it?
Yeah, it'd be huge. I mean, I think we're all really excited to play them, play for the Black Diamond Trophy. I think it would be a huge one.
David.
Hey, Nick, you and Dax, a lot of the seniors, you've played in a number of these really big games. What's your advice to some of the younger players who, maybe take some of that energy and use it, but also don't treat this game more than it is?
Yeah, just like you said, I think it's really important to, just focus on what we've been doing all year, and that's going out to practice, taking every play as serious as you can, and then eventually when the game rolls around, just trust your training.
Eric.
We've seen a nice rhythm to the offense the past few weeks now. How nice is it to know that you guys can move the ball, can gain yards, and now it's just a matter of making sure you cap those drives with scoring?
Yeah, we've done a nice job. I think we just got to keep building on that. Every play, each week of practice, just keep getting better so we can keep being more efficient.
Questions for Nick? All right, Mike, let's go out to Zoom.
On Zoom, can we start with Steve, please?
Nick, when you cross paths with Hokies fans or former players, how often does the West Virginia rivalry come up? How important is that scene to them?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty historic rival. My brother played here. I remember attending the one at FedEx Field when he was playing as a recruit. So yeah, it's a pretty big rivalry, and I think we're really excited to play.
Thanks.
Can we go to David Teal, please?
Nick, Dax said earlier that players like 11 a.m. games because you all get to see your families afterward. Is that a widely held preference?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get to see your family after, and also you get to wake up early, kind of, you don't have to kind of sit around all day. You get right to the game, right to pregame. And then, yeah, it was nice. This week I got to see my family hang out for a little bit, so that was nice.
Any more questions on Zoom for Nick? Travis, back to you.
All right, anything else in the room for Nick? Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Nick.
you.
All right, questions for Dax? Raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Start with David.
What do you remember from last year's game in Morgantown, and is there still a bad taste in your mouth?
Yeah, it was we got punched in the mouth real early. Didn't play as well as we wanted to first half. But I was proud of how our defense fought back, and give us a chance to win the game. But yeah, it's being that close really hurt, and not getting it done up there. And I want that trophy back. So, yeah.
Where have you improved the most through the first couple weeks of the season? Coach Pry was just in here mentioning that he feels like your reading of the game has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I've just been trying to honestly just take what I do at practice to the game. Like, that's really where I feel like I've improved a lot, is like not really trying to overcomplicate things. Like, what I do at practice is what I'm gonna do on game day, and just thinking like that and trusting in that, and trusting my practice habits are going to translate to Saturdays. Have really helped me out. Just a lot of film study as well, and just getting comfortable with the defense. And it's finally just honestly it's really clicking on all cylinders right now. So it's got to keep doing it week in, week out.
We've seen Chamari, now Taiwan, have the lunch pail. Is that something you want to carry? And
Oh yeah, 100%. I've never gotten to carry it, and I really want it.
what would it mean to have that opportunity?
It mean a lot. I've wanted it ever since I got here. I haven't got the opportunity yet, but those two guys are very worthy of that honor, and so hopefully one day. But Taiwan and Chamari have been playing their nuts off, so they really deserve it. So.
Aaron.
That seems crazy that you haven't had it yet, but Coach was saying that you guys have a hunt grade when he goes through, and it's sort of like for pursuit and things like that. I mean, is that a point of pride to get a good hunt grade when you grade film?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, it shows you how productive you are, how good you're playing, as well. Never want to be at the bottom of that list. Always working to be at the top, and so just I don't know. We go in there, and it really makes you feel good when you have a bad one, and really pisses me off when I have what makes me feel good when I have a good one. It really pisses me off when I have a bad one. So I mean, it's just competitive. It just keeps us going, wanting to get better each and every week. Just give us also a good standard to meet each and every week. So
it seems like, just from our vantage point, that like the tackling in space has been really good so far this year.
Yeah.
How much of a point of emphasis is that in practice, and what have you seen just being out there with those guys?
Well, I mean, I'd see the biggest difference is I'd say the reason we're playing so well right now is how we practice and how we go to work every day. And so we try to make practice simulate games Tuesday and Wednesday. And so that's really where it shows up, as I say, is just how hard we work. And there's definitely things in my game I need to clean up in space still, but I see we've gotten a lot better in that area of it. And just setting edges and trusting that the pursuit from the inside is going to get there. And it just handles itself, I'd say.
Just if I could get one more. I mean, there were a lot of factors last Saturday that could have taken big chunks out of that crowd. Early morning, opponent, all those things. Was there a moment you kind of looked around and said, "Man, these people are bought in"?
Yeah, I was very happy with the turnout. Very proud of our fan base. It really meant a lot to us as players, especially me. He's looking up there and seeing the students section rocking like it was. I mean, 11 o'clock game, I know that's tough for a lot of the fans. Us as players, we really like it because we don't got to sit in a hotel all day and you actually get to see your family after the game. But it really meant a lot to us players, and just to see the support that we have is just, there's not many places in the country that get that every Saturday, and I'm really blessed to get to play in front of those fans.
We've got Andy, Eric, and then two quick ones on here.
How does this West Virginia offense really stress a defense?
They go tempo. They go really fast. I mean, the quarterback has a really good arm. Probably one of the best arms I've ever seen. Got good receivers on the back end, and try to throw it out there, get a lot of screens, get a lot of other athletes in space, cut it up, and really basic run game. Not anything crazy like that, but really downhill, and they're gonna make you fit a lot of gap scheme and a lot of movement up front. So. It's good offense. We got a big challenge this week, and so gonna have to really practice well and show Thursday. Yep.
I know they have a really good completion rate or conversion rate on third down, but you guys are one of the best in the nation on stopping those third down conversions. Can you speak to the discipline that takes to make sure you get off the ball, get the ball back to your offense?
Yeah, it's a lot of it's situational football, knowing where the sticks are, especially in your drops, not dropping too deep, not biting on shorter routes, really playing the sticks and breaking down on everything like that. And also when you're blitzing, not taking any false steps, getting off on the ball, and making that quarterback have not much time to get the ball out. And so just those things, just knowing the situation, and the coaches really harping on that has really helped us get to that point. But like you said, it's going to be a really big challenge this week, and hopefully we can get it done.
Mike, let's go out to Zoom for a couple.
We got two quick ones. Could we start with Mike, please?
Dax, I'm curious. You talked to me at the beginning of the season about one of your goals being playing more consistent practice to practice, game to game, play to play. How would you evaluate your success there?
As of right now, that's been my main focus, and it's working. It's the standard of, honestly, it's just standard. I mean, me, Chamari, and Norrell, we harp on it every day about how we're supposed to practice and how it's going to translate to Saturday. And so far, it shows. And so we just got to keep on that and believing in the preparation and believing in the process and doing all the little things right. And I truly believe Saturday or Thursday will handle itself.
And this appears to be a pretty considerable step up in terms of the ability of this offense. How do you kind of characterize the defense's mood? Are you eager? Are you confident? Are you curious how you guys will fare against a more powerful offense?
I believe, I mean, like I said, I've been trying to really treat the games just as practice. Like, I treat practice the same way as Saturday or Thursday. Like, it's not, people don't need to really complicate it. What you do day in, day out is how you're going to be on Saturdays, I truly believe. And if we are who we are, like, Monday through Friday, then I truly believe that, Thursday is going to take care of itself. So, yeah.
Thanks, man.
On Zoom,
No
David Teal, please.
Dax, piggybacking on Andy's question about West Virginia's offense, is it different from last season, especially since they changed coordinators to Graham Harrell, who's known for that spread and rapid tempo?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's very similar offenses, I would say. They like a lot of screens, a lot of quick game, a lot of RPOs off of it, and it's your basic run game, split zone, inside zone, a good amount of counter, outside zone. Honestly, it's a very similar offense, but he usually has, off the run, he's always going to have a pass option off of it, which is maybe a little bit different, but he also has a better arm than the quarterback last year. So that'll be a lot more deep shots, I would say. But it's very similar offenses as last year.
Thank you.
Thank you on Zoom. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. Thank you, Dax.
Thank you.